Good morning and welcome to another 3-Minute Thursday from the Olympia Church of Christ. I wanted to talk to you about contamination today. There was a mother who was mixing a salad together and putting in vegetables, and her daughter came up and asked permission to attend an adult-rated movie that all of her friends were going to, and she started making all these excuses why it would be okay, and she was mature enough to not let the content influence her. And as she was saying all these things, the mom who was putting the items in the salad bowl reached over on the counter and grabbed a bunch of scraps like eggshells and other things and started dumping them in the salad. And in mid-sentence, the girl just kind of froze and said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And as she was saying that, her mom replied, "I know, but I thought if you didn't mind garbage in your heart and in your mind, you won't care about a little bit of garbage in your stomach." And then the girl very quietly started picking all the scraps out of the salad and said, "I guess I'll just tell them I'm staying home tonight." It's so important that we set a precedent for other brothers and sisters in Christ, that we are not going to tolerate the things that the world says okay, when the scriptures are very specific that we are to be careful of what we put into our heart. It's so important that we really think about Matthew 5:8. It says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." When our minds are exposed to evil constantly, our hearts become contaminated, and there's that much more work we need to do to avoid sin. Paul wrote in 1 Thessalonians 5:22, "Abstain from every form of evil." It's easy to compromise and say, a little bit of contamination or corruption won't harm. Or, again, it might not be harmful because we think, well, everybody else is doing it, and they're still seeming to be okay. God doesn't consider any sin small. That's what humanity has done to sin with our attitude. Solomon said in Proverbs 23:7, "For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." What we put in our hearts, in our minds, matters. We can't expect to rise above our thoughts because evil thoughts lead to evil deeds. We need to turn to God and His Son for the cleansing, and then keep our hearts thinking about His will daily, not the things of this world or what we might be missing out on. As someone has said, flowers open to the sun, but only one follows him constantly. And I researched, and sunflowers start out when they are young, facing east every morning, and as the sun rises and goes to the west, the young sunflowers follow the traction of the sun. However, as the sunflowers get heavy with burdens, with the seeds, as they have matured, they stop following the sun and just start drooping down because of the weight and overbearance of what they've brought in. And I just think that's a perfect example of how we should be facing the sun with a pure heart. There are places that we as Christians should not go, and things we should not see and seek out, and language we should not tolerate. There's enough evil that we're going to incidentally come in contact with that we have to deal with. Why would we bring it on ourselves? As Paul wrote to the Roman Christians, "Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing your mind with what is, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and the perfect will of God," Romans 12:2. I just want to encourage you to think about, what contamination do you tolerate? What do you allow in your life that you probably shouldn't, but you've just gotten accustomed to, and you've decided it's no big deal? Thanks, and I hope you have a wonderful day.